Okay, so today we're going to be doing a little vocabulary review before we get into bonding. And so I just want to remind folks of these four terms: atom, element, molecule, and compound. On today's lesson, we're going to be talking about these four things and talking about how you can recognize the difference between an atom, an element, a molecule, and a compound as we're working through these representations. So first of all, an atom. An atom is the smallest unit of matter. We usually represent it with like a little circle. Um, an element is a pure substance made out of one kind of atom. So usually we will designate which type of atom we're looking at by putting the element symbol inside the circle. Molecule. Molecule is two or more atoms that are bonded together. We usually represent that with like a little line to show that there's a bond. And then a compound is two or more different elements that are bonded together. So the big difference between a molecule and a compound is with a molecule, you have two or more atoms that are bonded together, but they could potentially be the same atom. So it's possible it could be a hydrogen atom and another hydrogen atom bonded together. With a compound, they have to be different elements. So, for example, maybe you would have a sodium and a fluorine bonded together. So, those are different elements. Now, that being said, sodium and fluorine bonded together, that's still a molecule, but that's not a compound. So, in other words, all molecules are compounds. Or sorry, all compounds are molecules, but not all molecules are compounds. And we'll go through some examples of this in the video here. Okay, so our first example, and the first thing that they're asking you to do here is count the atoms in green. So we'll do that. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 atoms. Which elements are in the picture? So for that, we're going to need the periodic table. Well, we can see we've got a Cl and we've got an Mg. Cl is chlorine, and Mg is magnesium. So we have chlorine and magnesium in the picture. Number of elements, well, that should be 1, 2, right? Chlorine and magnesium. So 2 elements. Circle any molecules in red. So we're going to circle this molecule. And so there's only one thing that's circled. So that means there's only one molecule. Is the molecule a compound? We're going to say, yes, that is a compound. How can we tell? It has more than one element, right? So it's got chlorine and magnesium because those are different elements. That means that this molecule is a compound. If it only had one kind of element, then it would just be a molecule, not a compound. And so it has one molecule. The picture has one molecule and one compound. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, so we've got another example here. We're going to count the atoms. So each circle is an atom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Which elements are in the picture? Oh, sorry, so 4. So which elements are in the picture? So we're going to need our periodic table again. We've got He, O, and C. So He is helium, O is oxygen, C is carbon. So we're going to write down helium, oxygen, and carbon. All right, and so that's 1, 2, 3 elements. So we're going to put 3 there. Okay, number of molecules. So we're going to circle any molecules in red first. Sorry, I forgot about this step. So we're going to circle this part right here because these two atoms are bonded together. Remember that in molecules, the atoms have to be bonded together. So these helium atoms are not bonded to the carbon or to the oxygen, so they do not count as molecules. Only the CO is a molecule. Okay, number of molecules, well, we just circled one thing, so there's just going to be one molecule. Is the molecule a compound? Yes, this is a compound. How can we tell? Remember that compounds have different elements, so we can tell because it has more than one element, right? It has a carbon and an oxygen in the molecule. And then last, our number of compounds is also going to be 1. We have one molecule, and that one molecule is a compound, so that means we have one compound. Okay, third example. So this is an oxygen molecule. We're going to count the atoms in green. 1, 2. Okay, and so that means we have 2 atoms. Which elements are in the picture? Well, again, we're going to go to our periodic table, and we're going to look at O. I think we already saw that one. That's oxygen. Go ahead and write oxygen here. That means that there's one element in the picture, oxygen. Circle any molecules in red, so we're going to go ahead and circle that. And so there's one molecule in the picture. Is the molecule a compound? No, this one is not a compound. How can we tell? It only has one kind of element, right? Oxygen is the only element in this molecule. If it had 2 different elements, like say oxygen and nitrogen, then it would be a compound. But since it has the same kind of element, we would say no, this is not a compound. Number of compounds? 0, because this is a molecule, but it is not a compound. So hopefully that helps you understand when a molecule is and is not a compound, right? It has to do with, is there more than one kind of element or not? Okay, and then example 4. Again, we're going to start off by counting the atoms. 1, 2, 3. And so then you can write 3 atoms here. Which elements are in the picture? Well, we have H and O. H is hydrogen. O is oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen. That's 1, 2 elements. So we're going to put 2 here. Circle any molecules in red. So we're going to circle this whole structure because it's all bonded together, right? The H is bonded to the O, and the O is bonded to the other H. Okay, so that means that we have one molecule. Is this molecule a compound? Yes, it is. How can we tell it's a compound? Well, we can tell because it has more than one element. And when this goes away, you'll see that. It has more than one element, so it has hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, it has more than one element, and so then this structure should have one compound. Okay, and so hopefully that helps you understand what we're doing in these examples. You're going to do something very similar in the problems today. You can see they look very similar. It'll be the same kinds of steps. You're just going to, count the atoms, say which elements are in the picture, circle any molecules in red, and then you'll say, is the molecule a compound and how you can tell. And you'll just say how many atoms, elements, molecules, and compounds there are in the problems. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I'm here to help.